Welcome back. Today we're diving into something really foundational for all of us. What genuinely makes us feel whole, seen, accepted. We're going to explore this really profound difference, the one between always sort of chasing validation from the outside world and finding that deep, lasting sense of fulfillment from within. It's subtle, maybe, but the insights we've gathered suggest it's just absolutely vital for real peace.
Oh, absolutely. That distinction is, well, it's everything, isn't it? It's so incredibly easy, almost automatic sometimes, to look outside ourselves for happiness, for our sense of worth. We get caught up, seeking that external praise or
Yeah.
trying to achieve more and more, or even building relationships, hoping they'll fill some kind of internal emptiness. But the truth is, and we'll unpack this a bit, that approach often leads straight back to disappointment, a cycle. There are deep, understandable reasons why that external pat on the back feels good for a second, but it just never really sticks. It's like trying to quench a really deep thirst with just tiny sips of soda. It doesn't last.
That's such a perfect analogy. Yeah. Let's start right there because that's such a common feeling, isn't it? We often think that outward recognition, like a big promotion maybe, or a lovely compliment from someone we admire, or even just buying that new thing we've wanted, we think that can finally fill that void inside us. You know that feeling, right? You get the praise, you hit the goal, and for a moment it's great. There's this rush, a kind of high, but then, well, it doesn't quite land, does it? It doesn't fundamentally shift how you feel about yourself deep down. It's almost like it passes right through you, leaving you kind of back where you started.
It absolutely does, yeah. And that's because external validation, on its own, it can be incredibly fleeting.
Hmm.
Imagine it this way. If you're carrying an underlying belief, maybe unconsciously deep down, that you're fundamentally not good enough, let's say, or maybe that you have to constantly earn your right to exist, then any praise, no matter how sincere it is, it can just pass right through you, like water through a rusty sieve. It might give you that temporary boost, sure, a fleeting smile, maybe even a moment of relief, but it simply doesn't build lasting self-worth. It doesn't actually change that core feeling. It's really the difference between a quick sugar rush and true sustained nourishment.
That rusty sieve image really paints a picture.
Okay.
It begs the question then, if external praise just passes through, what exactly is that internal void, that lack? What's stopping it from truly landing? What's at the root of these deep feelings of not being enough?
Hmm.
I've heard it described as like emotional abandonment from past years, maybe, or just experiences where our core needs simply weren't seen or met consistently. Is that on the right track?
That's precisely it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a key element we've found. When you carry those areas of, let's call it emotional lack or abandonment from the past within you, those times where your needs for connection or safety or just being seen weren't consistently met, your nervous system can actually become really tense. It's a physiological response, a deep protective mechanism. And this tension, it means it genuinely struggles to feel safe, even now, even in really close supportive relationships. It's often because of defense mechanisms that formed way back then when you were going through genuinely difficult times. It was a way to cope. So until those frozen parts of you, aspects of ourselves that sort of got stuck in a past moment, unable to process it fully, or the hungry parts, the parts needing something, or the unheard or overlooked parts, until you truly acknowledge and address those parts, no amount of external support, or even trying to escape through habits like, compulsive eating or being constantly busy or other things, none of that will bring lasting relief. They're just temporary distractions, really, from what needs internal attention.
Wow. Okay. So it's really not about what's out there at all. It's profoundly about what's in here. If that's the case, then the real source of profound change isn't the admiration of other people, but something else entirely. What's been called your meeting with yourself. That phrase really resonates. It sounds like a pivot point where you finally stop searching for proof of your worth outside and start finding meaning, real meaning, in the relationship you have, well, with yourself. It sounds almost paradoxical in a way.
It does sound that way, doesn't it? And just to be clear, this doesn't mean you have to suddenly do everything alone
Yeah.
or, isolate
Yeah.
yourself. That's not the point at all.
Yeah.
The insight here is that while support from others is vital, it's beautiful, it's necessary even, nobody else can do this essential inner work for you. It's a deeply personal journey.
Yeah.
There's no fairy godmother who's going to appear. I mean, no seeker who's coming to magically fix these deep-seated internal issues. That profound transformation, it has to come from within, initiated by you, for you. It's really about taking agency in your own emotional well-being.
Okay, so this meeting with yourself, that sounds like the path forward, the real work. But what exactly does it involve? What does that inner work look like practically, day to day? I imagine it's about building a truly honest, sincere bond with yourself. Is that fair? It sounds like learning to genuinely listen to yourself. And this sounds like the hard part, acknowledging all your emotions, even the difficult ones we usually try to push away. But I can imagine people thinking, that sounds exhausting. Isn't there a point where it just gets done?
Yeah, that's a really fair point. And it can feel like a heavy lift, especially at first, if you're not used to turning inward like that. But the idea of it being a daily choice isn't about constant grueling effort, not at all. It's more about a consistent reorientation, choosing yourself, even in small ways, again and again. It does involve facing those uncomfortable feelings, maybe fear or terror or deep loneliness, helplessness, instead of, diving into the reeds, as the saying goes, trying to avoid them. It's about standing firm right there with those feelings, acknowledging them without judging them. Because here's the thing, everything you search for externally for years, that acceptance, safety, love, it actually becomes available, becomes accessible, only when you learn to stand on your own side. When you truly commit to being present with yourself, with all of yourself, that's when the real shifts start happening. And maybe surprisingly, it often gets easier over time, not harder. It's like building a new muscle memory, but for emotional resilience.
Ugh, okay. It makes so much more sense when you frame it like that, like building a muscle. It really brings home that idea that genuine self-love isn't just some passive feeling that washes over you. It's an action. It's an active daily choice we have to make moment by moment to show up for ourselves.
Precisely.
Yes.
And the outcome of doing this internal work, it's genuinely transformative. When your inner needs, remember those frozen, hungry, unheard parts we talked about? When they're finally seen and acknowledged and taken seriously by you, that's when you become truly, genuinely less dependent on the impressions or opinions of others. Their presence, their validation, it then transforms. It goes from being this desperate, often unconscious need into being a wonderful complement to what already exists within you. It's no longer about them filling some gaping void inside. It's about them enriching something that is already becoming whole and stable within you. It's a profound shift, really, from needing to choosing.
From needing to choosing. I like that. That's a beautiful way to put it. So if we contrast this with, seeking fulfillment through the next achievement or buying expensive things or even grand romantic gestures, what we're really saying is that true internal contentment doesn't actually come from those external things. That internal emptiness, it only disappears, as you said, when you start treating yourself with the attention and warmth you've been seeking for so long from outside. It's almost like a magic trick where the answer was always in your own pocket the whole time.
That's exactly it. Yeah, this kind of inner rebuilding, this internal fortification, it just cannot be bought. Not with money, not with possessions, not even through another person's affection, no matter how much they care or how perfect it seems. It's something that has to be built slowly, patiently, brick by brick, you could say, and at a pace that's manageable for both your mind and your body. It's holistic. Think of it like recalibrating a very sensitive instrument, which is your whole being, really. And when this internal shift genuinely happens, when you start to really self-regulate, self-soothe, feel safer inside, then every external gesture, a compliment, a gift, an act of love, an achievement, it transforms. It goes from being something desperately consumed out of that deep need, that hunger, into becoming a genuine gift, freely and openly received, without that desperation attached. Relationships, then, they can become this wonderful freedom rather than being driven by an insatiable hunger that honestly can never truly be satisfied from the outside.
It's incredible to think about how this one internal shift can completely change our entire experience, life, relationships, everything. It reminds me a bit about timing, actually. This
Yes.
year, 2025, wow, it's already brought so many upheavals, right? Disturbances, changes for so many of us. It's been a lot to navigate, a real roller coaster. But what you're suggesting is that this unsettled period, this very turbulence, it might actually be counterintuitively your best possible time now to begin to rebuild what was missing inside. Is that right?
It might seem completely counterintuitive, I know, with all the global and personal turbulence happening. But moments of upheaval, moments where things feel shaken up, they often present these unique opportunities for internal recalibration. When the old ways of coping maybe aren't working as well, or the old external structures feel less stable, that can sometimes be the very push we need to finally look inward, to do this work. So yes, this could very well be your moment, your time. And as you approach this rebuilding, this meeting with yourself, remember to do it with courage, but also without undue haste. There's no race here. Allow for the natural pace of self-discovery. And most importantly, approach it with trust in yourself, with honesty about what you find inside, even the messy bits, and with genuine faith in your own capacity for healing and success. It truly is a journey that pays dividends for your entire life.
Wow. That's such a powerful thought to carry forward. So ultimately, today's deep dive really reminds us, doesn't it? It reminds us of the incredible transformative power of turning inward. True self-worth, like deep sense of okayness, it isn't something that can be given to you from the outside. It's an inside job, a continuous, gentle process of nurturing and reconnecting with yourself. One choice, one moment at a time.
Exactly. And perhaps if you leave this conversation today, just consider this. What small, gentle step can you take, maybe even right now or later today, to build a more sincere, honest connection with yourself? Maybe it's just 5 quiet minutes to actually acknowledge a feeling you've been ignoring. Or just a moment to pause and genuinely ask yourself, what do I truly need right now? Because once that internal foundation starts getting stronger, once you truly learn to stand on your own side, it honestly changes how you experience absolutely everything else in your world. It's profound.